Compassion for animals is intimately connected with goodness of character, and it may be confidently asserted that he who is cruel to animals cannot be a good man, says one of the quotes on animal abuse. Good morning, listeners. Here is Giridhar, and you are listening to the podcast Giridhar's Garady. Today, we have a brilliant personality on the show. Integrity, compassionate, creative are the three things that we can notice if we know her. Also, a social and friendly girl by nature, and hey, the lookalike of famous actress Priya Mani. Here's welcoming the guest for today's episode, Judith. Hi, Judith. Welcome to Giridhar's Garady. How are you doing today?
Hey Giridhar, I'm doing well. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, just one question before we start. How do you feel like being a guest on this podcast?
Oh, I definitely feel great about being in your podcast because I've known you since I think 8 years now. And knowing your creative side, I should have expected something like this from you. So yeah, it's not a surprise to me. You're doing great. I've gone through a couple of your podcast, and they're really great. So I'm really excited about this today.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. And I'm equally excited to having you as a guest on my podcast.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on to the concept for today. Tell us, what is this animal abuse all about?
Yeah. So I think it's a very deep and dark topic for everyone who loves animals, and especially the ones who are pet parents. It is a very alarming topic to us. It's animal abuse. As soon as you tend to hear this word, it's predominantly you think about inflicting pain to an animal, right? That's where you go, that's where your mind goes. But I think the major part of animal abuse or cruelty is also the nature of neglect, right? So in your surroundings, when you happen to see stray dogs, when you happen to see animals who are there, who are hungry, who are wounded, but you tend to neglect, or you tend to not lend your helping hand towards them, I think that is something fundamental uh, uh, behavior that contributes to animal cruelty or animal abuse. So there are a lot of types in which the animals are abused. According to the stats, Asia comes on the highest part, where predominantly the animal abuse culture is prevalent. Uh, it can be, like I said, it can be of various types. You abuse animals to use something out of it, like maybe their meat, their leather, their fur. So that is one type of animal abuse. And another type of major animal abuse is a lot of animals are used for laboratory testing purposes. I think technology has advanced to a point where we can start replacing these animals with something else that's not living, right? And you can discard the use of animals for testing. So yeah, that is one thing. And like I said, most part of it is about cruelty towards animals, like harsh behavior towards animals, mentally or physically. So yeah, that's all about animal abuse.
Okay. Okay. So, according to you, what are the generic reasons for this animal abuse?
I think you rightly said in the beginning. I mean, it's depending on the personality of a person. I think all the animals deserve kindness from human, but sadly, all over the world, animals are facing neglect. Right? They are facing cruelty, meaning that they are mistreated, or they are being used. So the the major thought behind this is either there are a lot of studies that are put together to research on what kind of human behavior is involved in terms of abusing animals. So one study research that happened to notice was the abusers, right? Like you have domestic violence, you have child abuse. So most of these abusers, the people that they have abused, when they took statements from those people, out of those people, 80% of them told that these kind of people were hard to their pets itself. So yeah, I think when they cannot be empathetic, or when they can be cruel to human, I think animal is nothing for them. So it's the basic thought, it's the basic kind of upbringing, or it's the basic mental state of every individual that contributes to animal abuse.
Yes, that's rightly said, Judith. In fact, I agree with you. The empathy, it's the same everywhere, whether it's with respect to humans or with respect to animals.
Right.
Okay. So why is it important to stop this animal abuse?
Um, I mean, see, like, I think there are a lot of acts, a lot of, uh, uh, you know, policies that are put in place to stop domestic violence or child abuse or rape or anything, right? There are a lot of laws in place to stop that. I think animal abuse is so much prevalent and has also taken a bystand in our society. I mean, people don't realize how important it is to stop it. It is as important as it is to stop any other abuse. Just because they are animals and they cannot voice out and they cannot walk up to the police station and write a FIR or a complaint against the one who has abused them, does not mean that we take them for granted, right? According to me, I think it should be as effective as any other or as cruel as any other abuse that is in our society. And it's very, very important to stop it. Uh, I know there are a lot of animal rights that are in place, but we all know that it's very neglected, or it's not being effectively used. So I think all of that needs to be put in place to stop animal abuse, because they have every right to share the same society that we live in, and they have every right to expect and deserve all the kindness from us.
True. So now that we have understood the problem, let's talk about the solution part.
Yeah.
How can we stop this animal abuse if it's occurring somewhere?
Okay. I think the first thing that I would say, like, not everyone would agree to participate in an NGO that runs for these kind of causes, but I think every one of us at certain point in our life, everyone says that, okay, somebody must have done something about it, or somebody should have done to stop this. But I would say, why don't you become that somebody? Why don't we become that somebody? I think at every stage of our life there can be situations where we could probably handle that. um, if you happen to see an animal abuser right in front of you, things that you need to do is, um, never ignore it. You cannot afford to ignore that behavior, right? So you would have to take up that courage to go up to the person or anyone who's doing the act, and let him know that what he's doing is wrong. And I think our government has given us the freedom to uh, launch an FIR. If you see something like this, absurd thing happening right in front of you, you can always go up to the nearest police station or call the police station and launch an FIR against that person. I remember there was one situation that had happened in Kerala where the man was very frustrated with his personal life, and to remove that agitation, I think uh, the only way that he found was to tie his dog, his own pet dog, behind his scooter, and he just drove the scooter across the lanes.
Oh my
So
God.
yes, that was heart wrenching for me to even see that video or look at it. I mean, I didn't have the courage to look at that video itself. But I am very glad that that particular society's people did not neglect it. They immediately reached out to the nearest police station and launched an FIR, and the guy was sued for his act. So I think it's every individual's responsibility to not ignore such behavior. Also, if you can take one step forward in stopping these, is, you can, like, we all agree that we have kids at our home, we have a lot of kids, right? uh, in our traditional education system, right, everything is important, but I don't find people educating about animals or animal rights or animal abuse. I don't see things like this very prevalent in our education system, but definitely we can adapt. We don't have to wait for the government to reform the education system, but definitely we can do something about it at our homes, like educate the children right from the start on how important it is to treat the animals and our surrounding living beings, in a mannerful way. So yeah, I think it's all starts at home, it all starts at an individual level. I don't really have to tell everyone or educate about how to go about it and prevent it. There are a lot of organizations, there are a lot of NGOs that run. Even if you type in Google, there's one predominant NGO called PETA that works for this, which is People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. They have their dedicated hotline, which works 24/7, trust me, and they attend to every situation that you call about. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Oh, that's good to hear, Judith. And one interesting point which you told here is educate the children from the beginning itself. I must say that's an amazing point. And yeah, that's the best way to actually stop this abuse from occurring.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, apart from the one that you mentioned, like reaching out to police through an FIR as such. So apart from this, yeah, are there any other ways wherein we can take the legal action against the ones who are responsible for this animal abuse?
Yeah, like I said, right, one of the most common ways, because like your police hotline is all time available to you, so you would go or choose that approach. But yeah, if you want to legally go about it, there are a lot of online pet for animal forums where you can lodge your complaint, and the turnover time is less than 24 hours. You get an instant response within 24 hours, and they would walk you through what needs to be done legally, and they would help you out in every certain scenarios. So yeah, there are a lot of online forums. Like, I think most of us would be familiar with consumer online forums for day-to-day issues, right? So there is also a dedicated animal uh, abuse forums where you can go ahead and report your complaints, and that is being taken care for sure.
Okay. Okay. So, my next question to you, Judith, what is the ideal way to treat animals if they are victims of an abuse?
I think I happen to hear one of the person who was involved in one of the animal NGOs, and she said a very interesting thing. So she said a lot of people tell that, you know what, we have to, that dog is very violent, or that dog is very agitated, or that dog tries to bite everyone who goes across the lane. They try to pinpoint the animal who is, uh, uh, very agitated or very hard to tackle about, and they think that by inflicting some sort of pain to it, it will get scared from us, and that way it would that way you control the situation. But I think what she said was amazing. She said, if in a society you think that there is an aggressive animal out there, that only reflects the kind of people who stay in that society. So no animal is born, it is not born that way. It is not born aggressive. It's the kind of situations that it goes through that makes it that way. So if a dog you see is frustrated or agitated or is really hard to tame, that shows the kind of situations that it has gone through, or it reflects this look like people in that locality who's driven that dog to that situation. I have personally noticed one case where there was this dog that was near my place, and it happened to give birth to babies. So when a dog gives birth to babies, it's like at a stretch it gives birth to babies, like, so you will have 5 or 6 puppies running around. So there was this construction site where there were a few workers who used to work, and these puppies used to always go into that construction site, and as usual, like as kids, right, they are playful, they are uh, childish in all the aspects. The same thing goes with puppies. So they were playish, they were sort of fiddling with stuff here and there. But these people, they decided to get rid of those puppies by putting all of them down. The next day when I get up and I just see the mother dog. I don't see any of the puppies. And when I asked one of the local resident, he said one of the workers put all those puppies down. So none of them are alive right now. And since then, I mean, I have personally noticed that change. I mean, I used to feed that particular dog. It was such a friendly dog. But since then, I have noticed a 360, change over in the behavior of that particular dog. So any human that's trying to come close to it, it sort of growls and it becomes really agitated. And clearly we know the reason behind it, right? So
Yes.
I think it's very, very, very important to understand human values, be it human, be it animal. We are bound to empathize, and we are bound to let everyone live at their own. It is very important to do that. Some of the other things that we could really do is uh, there is one way to get these things sorted is by sterilizing these animals. So what they do is, if you call these NGOs or you call the local animal organizations, they will come and sterilize these dogs. Sterilizing is nothing but, a particular tap is open and the water is dropping. So you sort of close the tap to avoid the water to come out. It's just that you sterilize the dog so that there are no more puppies that come out of it. So that is also one of the way that we can control the situation. So yeah.
Okay. Okay. Now let me put my next question in this way. We always hear that prevention is better than cure. So, what are the ways to prevent this animal abuse from not happening?
Yeah, I think most important thing is like nowadays there is a fancy sort of tradition that everyone has gotten used to, is having a pet at their house, okay, and treating that pet as an accessory. So if you go to any house, 90% of the houses will have these branded foreign breeded dogs. You might find a German Shepherd, you might find a Beagle, you might find a Akita, you might find any of those breeds. But the sad point is, when we have so many dogs in our society, our own indie breeds who are very lovable, more lovable than any other foreign breed dogs, more very used to the current situation, very adaptable, very easy to train, very easy to maintain. So people don't realize that by adopting our own very indie breeds will make a huge difference to the existing scenario. That is, I think, that is one of the ways that we can do. And a few of the other ways is like, uh, a lot of animals are being cruelly treated for their meat, or like I said, for their parts like leathers or fur or everything. I think we should stop that. I mean, I'm very I feel I'm very small in saying that, because I myself, I am a meat eater, but I am wanting to not do that. The concept of veganism has always amused me, and I hope I turn myself to a vegan sometime in my life, but I definitely go to do that. So yeah, small steps from your side makes a huge difference. So I think these kind of things are some things that you can do at your level to prevent these things from happening.
Yeah, and of course, like you have already said earlier, the education that we provide to children from the
That's
beginning
very
itself, that
important.
would also make a lot of difference.
Exactly.
All right. So, Judith, now tell me, what is the positive impact on society if we could prevent this animal abuse?
Um, I think out of my personal experience, I would, I mean, I'm really sure that it'll be a huge impact to the society. Predominantly mentally, it'll be really comforting. But I'll share my personal experiences. As you know, that I'm a pet parent, and uh, uh, in Instagram, we like in any social media, like nowadays, where they are promoting pet love and love towards animals, I see a very cute slogan which says that if you are lucky, a dog will walk into your life. So I really go by that. I mean, I feel that I'm really lucky in that terms, where uh, a dog has walked into my life. And fortunately, it walked into my life when I was at my real low. So, and I would say, out of my personal experience, that it has beautifully transformed my life. Like, whenever I go out and I come back home, I always have that in my mind, that there is someone that is very eagerly waiting for you. That feeling is very beautiful. And as soon as you like knock the door, you know that um, your dog has recognized that you have come, and the reactions that they show. I mean, there is no difference in terms of how they process emotion. Uh, they are exactly same in terms of processing emotions. I mean, if I am dull or sad, I see that it reflects to my pet as well. So, but the very fact that is heartwarming is, they are much better than us in terms of emoting that emotion. So they are out there, they show their love 100%, no matter what you do or what you don't do for them. So it's a very beautiful feeling. I think every that person who's scared of dog and who's scared of having pet uh, in their houses, just because they think that their house will no longer be clean, or they will not have any private uh, area to themselves for a private life, they would have to have an additional responsibility. I would say to those people, just try, I mean, just make up your mind and have a pet. Let it be a fish, let it be a bird, let it be anything, but the way that is going to transform your life is will immensely help you, emotionally, mentally. It will definitely help you grow. There are a lot of things that they teach us, a lot of emotions that are untold but understood. So yeah, I just can't I think I can't justify 100% of what it feels like in words. I would just say that uh you would need to be at the position and point and experience it to understand it. It's not necessary that, again, like when I'm emphasizing on having a pet, it's not necessary that you take the pet inside your house and pet it. It could be any that stray dog that's in your lane. You just try to feed it daily, and you look at the amount of love it gives you back. I mean, it would definitely mean a lot to you. So yeah, that's on my that's my take on how you should look at it, and how that would impact one's life and in total our society.
Amazing. Rightly said, Judith. In fact, I could connect with you a lot because I have one of my friend's house very near to me, and I usually go once a week to his house only to meet his dog, his pet. I can,
Yeah.
yeah, I can, just like you said, I can't explain it in words how the way she loves people around her. It can be his family or it can be even with me. So I can truly connect with you completely.
Yeah, I tell you, that's the best feeling.
Yeah, and like you said, people usually feel like taking a responsibility or any other things, but all those other things doesn't matter before the love that it gives us back. So those are negligible.
I would
Those are
say,
very minute things, I
yes,
would
I
say.
would say you will never regret the decision of taking up another responsibility in terms of this, because when I brought my pet at home, my parents were completely against it. And they said, like, as soon as I bought it, they said, we would give you 3 days to get rid of this. Please get rid of this, because they were not mentally prepared, and they were not very um, like they didn't know how to handle that situation. But I think I was lucky enough where I got those 3 days, and in that 3 days things changed so much that on the third day they were the ones who asked me to just not give it to someone else, and that we will keep it with us. And I think that was a best decision. I don't think they will ever regret it, but that was a best decision made to us.
Awesome. And I must say that's a sweet responsibility, no doubt in that.
Yeah.
All right. So, Judith, tell me, like a kind of last question,
Yeah.
how to create awareness on animal abuse to ordinary people?
Yeah. A lot of people, I think, in our society, know what is animal abuse and know how they need to treat an animal, but they fail to do so because somewhere down the line they think that, it's just the nature of the universe that this is supposed to be this way, and this does not have a better ending. A lot of people take things for granted. I think that should stop. Okay. uh, and the general awareness of creating, like a general awareness that you can create as an individual is, I think, by your actions, because that speaks, like, rightly people say that it speaks louder than words. It does. So I think by your actions, by how active you are in terms of keeping the welfare of an animal, your friends know about it, your society knows about it. uh, the group of people you are with, they know about it, they take up interest. So that's how you spread through yourself. That's why I have been emphasizing on points that it's very important for us to self develop our uh, awareness in terms of this. It is only by how you project or how you are in the society. I think at least 2 or 3 people will look at you and will want to do the same as you are doing. And the other good things that we could do is, most of us live now in this modern living. We live in apartments where there are hundreds of people. There are a lot of people around us, and there are times when you have this, formal gatherings for New Year's or for occasions where everyone gathers at one point. I think you not everyone would want to do that, but if you do that, trust me, you feel very content doing that. You can take a minute or two about uh, telling how important it is to be empathetic to animals and how important are animals to our society and what they contribute. We can do that since we are all working in a corporate society, right? I think most of our corporate culture also drives us towards this. I know there are a lot of companies that that have started focusing on animal goodness, and they are doing a lot of things to create awareness. So yeah, there are a lot of things that are going around you. It's just that you need to keep a watch, keep yourself uh, aware about all these things and behave accordingly.
Absolutely. All right. So before we wind up this concept, I want you to give just one message for our listeners with respect to the prevention of animal abuse.
I think we had like a detailed discussion. I am sure, I mean, this is a wonderful effort. I am feeling so content about talking this uh, whole thing. And I know for sure that when I'm putting it in this platform, at least there are a chunk of people who would go through this podcast and listen about it and think about it. So, not stretching it too much, but I will only say one thing, that animals, they don't have a choice, right? So let us all together be their voice. So that's how I would like to conclude the whole thing. I think that speaks for itself.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Judith. Thank you so much for that one simple message.
Yeah, thank you so much, Giridhar.
All right. So now it's time for us to move on to a fun segment, that is the rapid fire round. Let me tell you that this is just a fun segment, no logic involved. You will be given some set of questions with two choices. You can choose either of them, both, or none. The idea is to end the episode with a smile after a sort of serious discussion so far. So, are you ready?
I agree. Yeah, surely. I'm ready.
Great. So, my first question to you, Judith, in the rapid fire round: dogs or cats?
Dogs.
Our own personal experience.
Yeah,
Great. Tiger or lion?
I would say lion.
Okay, the king of the jungle.
Yeah.
Okay. The pigeon or nightingale?
I think pigeon, because sorts of emote peace. I feel a lot of peace looking at, pigeon. I don't know. I get that vibe from it. So yeah, pigeon.
Great. Nests or caves?
I think nest, because they are still open. They let the bird fly. Caves are still closed. So yeah, anytime nest.
I must say that's a wise answer.
Yeah,
Okay. Zoo or forest?
anytime forest.
Okay. Again, I think the similar analogy. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Lark or night owl?
I'm sorry, I couldn't get that.
Lark or night owl?
Oh, I think night owl, because that sort of resembles my personality as well. I find it really difficult to sleep during the nights. I'm awake most of the night and my energy drops during the day. So yeah.
In this current generation, most of us are night owls. I can say that.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Horse or camel?
Horse, beauty
Okay.
itself. Yeah.
Okay. Zebra or giraffe?
I think giraffe, because it sort
Okay.
of I think it helps you. It always denotes one thing, that however you tall you are, you would still have to look down to do something. So keep yourself grounded. That's the only thing that I learned from giraffe.
Ah, that's inspiring again. Okay. Parrot or rabbit?
Rabbit.
Okay. So, Judith, my last question to you in the rapid fire round, my most favorite one. Let's see what you're going to say. Giridhar or Judith?
I think Giridhar, because that's what the whole show was about. Putting someone else in front of you, that always helps you. That gives you a personal content as well, and that does good to the others. So yeah, always put someone else in front of you in any aspect. That would help you for a long time.
That's so sweet of you. For now, first of all, thank you so much for choosing me. And secondly, this was absolutely in line with what we have you have told so far.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you so much, Judith, for joining us on the show today. We look forward to having you once again on this podcast in future.
Definitely, it would be a pleasure.
Great. That's it for today, listeners. And thank you so much once again, Judith, for being with us today. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be back next week with another amazing guest. See you.
Thank you so much.